oh, look at those pink eyelids. Really, really lazy blink that he or she just did. Falling asleep, sitting down. Only got a one-eyed blink there. A Verreaux's eagle owl used to be the giant eagle owl. We actually saw one up on Sandy Patch a couple of days ago, just after dusk. And I'm on Aubrey's now, so a good chance it's the same animal. Though normally I would expect to find these closer to drainage lines, but there aren't really any established drainage lines in this area. But what a beautiful sighting this is, just chilling in a marula tree not too far off the road. But yes, very characteristic, those pink eyelids. You can see them again. She looks like very dozy, hey? You can see those sort of false ear tufts, but not as pronounced as in the spotted eagle owls, like the weeks. And of course that sort of white face is quite characteristic. And somebody asked me the other night when we saw the owl there about their ability to hunt. And I just mentioned those sort of facial discs, so you can see those facial discs a lot more clearly now, and that quite thin, sharp beak. So that's all designed to channel the sound either side of that beak, and those facial discs act like big parabolic radar dishes, pretty much, and channel the sound into the ears, which are on the side of the head, not the top of the head. And because the sound has been split either side of that beak, so I'm just listening to something. Impala's making some very unusual noises, but it just sounds more like males fighting with each other. But we will definitely go and have a look. I've completely lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so the sound hits the ears. I think even the owl heard that noise at slightly different times and allows them to interpret exactly where that noise is coming from. They are a bit scary of it, hey, but I think they're quite soft eyes, though. They're quite sort of docile eyes. But I suppose that's that stigma attached to owls. It sounds like rutting males. It doesn't sound like alarm calls for impala. Sorry, everyone, I've got very distracted there because obviously I'm still thinking lions. But that was quite a lot of noise that came out there, but it didn't sound like alarm calls. But we will certainly go and check it out. But I don't think she looks scary. I think she looks rather cute, actually. Very, very nice to see. So difficult to know if this is a male or a female, and whether or not there is another one. I don't see another one in this tree, but whether this is part of a pair. It is lovely white mane, yes, and so it's, despite not being on my bingo board, this is probably my favourite thing I've seen this afternoon so far. You don't get to see these every day, especially not sitting relatively out in the open like this in full daylight. Very beautiful. And so you don't normally see those pink eyelids quite so obviously either. It's very nice that she's given us a couple of winks. Winks, not weeks. I'm going to have to keep an eye out. Maybe there is a nest somewhere in this area, but I only see the one. I do not see another one in that tree, but that's quite normal. They don't always roost together. But very nice. But curiosity is beginning to get the better of me now. Gary, I don't actually know about in terms of during the daytime, but at night time they can see very well. You can see the size of those eyes, and in fact, if we could, this is rather macabre thought, but if we could have a look at this owl's skull and peel all the skin back, you'll see that the majority of the whole head is eye. We're only seeing a very small proportion. The eye itself is massive. It's probably closer to the size of those facial discs, if I'm honest. If you've ever seen a bird's skull, you'll know that they've got huge eye sockets, but only a little bit of the eye sort of peeks out. And owls have very sort of deep set eyes. They're tubular eyes, and they have an awful lot of visual receptor cells in there. Very, very sensitive to low light because they are so large. But they don't have a nictitating membrane like we see in some nocturnal birds and obviously nocturnal animals. Looks like a clockwork owl. Where was I? Yes, so that's the other reason they can't move their eyes in their socket, because they're so big. So they need to be able to twist their head 270 degrees to look sort of behind them. So in complete darkness, they wouldn't be able to see anything, no, but in very low light conditions they can do, but they're more reliant on their hearing than they are on their sight. I don't know how they would perform during the daytime, but I'm sure that they are able to filter out enough sunlight to be able to function normally. I don't see why not, but I don't honestly know if there are any special adaptations. Interestingly, a Dussie, or the rock hyrax, their eyes are quite specialised. They've almost got built-in sunglasses. They've got like a protective layer which deals with polarised light from the sun, very bright sunshine, because their major predator are birds of prey, eagles, and it's good, you know, you're constantly looking up into the sky during the daytime, and that could be quite bad for your eyes. So rock hyraxes or Dussies have got special eye filters, if you like, for the sun, like wearing a pair of polarised sunglasses.